Hey everybody, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here for Juggernaut Training Systems and Juggernaut AI, joined by Marisa. Today we're going to be talking to you about building mobility for the Sumo Deadlift. And as we all know, Sumo Deadlift is cheating. You just do the splits, the bar comes up, world records, confetti falls from the heavens. But obviously just joking with that. Real competition legal deadlift. While you can do all kind of different exercises for your hip mobility, 90-90 hip rotations and internal and external rotation work, that stuff has its place and can be a fine warm-up, but there's really nothing quite like doing sumo deadlifts to improve the mobility for sumo deadlifts. So we'll get into the strategy to do that best in a minute. As always, our videos here on the Juggernaut Training Systems channel are brought to you by the Juggernaut AI app. So if you want totally customized programming to you that grows and adapts with your feedback, check out a 2-week free trial of the Juggernaut AI app at juggernautai.app or in the link down in the description. So as I mentioned, the best way to build mobility for the sumo deadlift is to do sumo deadlifts. But Chad, I don't have the mobility to do them. How could I do such a thing? Here's how. So we got to create a situation where you can get in a good position. The thing that's tough about doing sumo deadlift right off the bat, maybe you're trying to transition from conventional to sumo, and you have a really hard time when the bar is on the floor getting in the right position. But if we elevate the bar a little bit, you can get in that correct position. And as you get in that correct position, you're going to develop the mobility for it. You're going to ingrain the mobility for it. You're going to load that pattern in the most specific way possible towards building momentum. So our strategy that we're going to use is elevating the bar on blocks, and we've got these high wood blocks here. So this would be like you've got really poor mobility for the sumo deadlift. But as Marisa sets up here, bar's high, it's just below the knee, and she can get in this great knees out vertical torso position. Great position for the sumo deadlift. So our wood blocks here are 1 foot high, and then you can see she's standing on mats. She's only 5 feet high as a person, but so this would be a ridiculously high block for her. It would probably be at your lockout. I think you might not have to move the bar at all. So the 1 foot high block would be super, super high. I mean, if you're 6'6" trying to sumo deadlift, if Thor or someone's watching this video, that might be them. But we just made a little modification. So she's standing on 3 inches of mats here. They're 3/4 inch each. So take it down to 9-inch blocks, which 9-inch blocks would still be very, very high, but that's the blocks I got in the garage here. So this is what we're going to use for the example. So whatever the highest, whatever position you need to get in good sumo deadlift position, your knees aren't collapsing in, your torso is as vertical as possible. That great position that you see, the Dan Grigsby's and the guys who are saying sumo deadlift world records, Kate Cohen, if you will, new world record holder in the 48 kilo class, 200.5 kilos, been using the Juggernaut AI app for like 4 years, NBD. But those great positions, you want to emulate those as close as you can. And yes, some of it's hip structure and limb proportions and all that stuff. But even if you don't have that perfect sumo deadlifting body, this is going to help you get in that position. So maybe you need to start from 9-inch blocks and you do your work for a week or two from 9-inch blocks. Probably really frequent work when the bar is elevated that much because the range of motion is going to be so small. And then the next week you go to 8-inch blocks and then 7-inch blocks, 6-inch, 5-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch, 2-inch, 1-inch. And in this process, starting from extremely high, 9-inch blocks, in 10 weeks, you've built that mobility the whole way along. So rubber mats like this are a great way to progress mobility for the sumo deadlift. I got it. Oh, blooper, outtake reel. So this would be probably a pretty realistic situation and something we actually used when Marisa went from competing in conventional deadlift, and because of some back issues and stuff, we thought that sumo was going to be a more sustainable choice. So we used a progression like this. She got 4 mats there, 3/4 inch each. So we're on 3-inch mats. And for the first week of a training cycle or first 2 weeks, depending on how long you feel like, all right, I'm doing these ones well, she's doing deadlifts from 4 mats. And then as her mobility increases, we pop a mat off, and she does deadlifts from 3 mats. Now we're at 2 1/4 inch. And so on and so forth as her mobility improves in the most specific way possible. Doing the actual exercise itself, she works closer and closer to the floor. And depending on how you adapt, how frequently you're doing these exercises, if you're doing, other general mobility movements around it, very, very common that you can go down, 1/2 inch to 1 inch a week. So maybe you need to start, in this case, 3-inch mats, and then in 4 weeks, you're on the floor and you've got that mobility. So this is a really simple strategy, but probably the most effective way for you to build mobility for the sumo deadlift is by doing sumo deadlifts. You just need to set yourself up in a position where you can do them correctly. So if that means the bar is on 6-inch blocks or 8-inch blocks for you to get in that good position, then, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Didn't think I was bringing Arthur Ashe quotes into today's YouTube video, but use that idea and do them right in the way that you can do them, and then strategically progress down to the floor. And while it might seem slow and tedious, for the 4 to 6 weeks that you're doing it, once that's done, you've got the mobility, then you work from the floor and it's all set. So hopefully that simple strategy can help you improve your mobility for the sumo deadlift, instead of not wasting your time, but being less efficient with your time, flopping around on the ground. Maybe you have that machine that, you crank the wheel and it does the splits. Is that for sumo deadlifting, or is that for like sex stuff? Oh, well, I always thought it was for sumo deadlifting, but my mind doesn't work like that. So, you can do that stuff, and it can definitely be a benefit, but doing this is going to be the most effective strategy for you to improve that mobility for the sumo deadlift. So hopefully you learned something here. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out a 2-week free trial of the Juggernaut AI app.